Is it a girl or boy? I asked, trying to look through the fur at the correct place. A boy. Dad crouched down, looking at me as I hugged the kitten. Briefly, he reached forward and touched my cheek, and I leant into the roughness of his hand. Yes, he said to himself, his voice a growl of love. It's that look in your eyes right there that I want to capture. He straightened up, his knees creaking. I'm going to need to paint him. And you, of course. I have an idea. He trailed off. Frowning at me, he turned on his heel and entered the house, leaving the kitten and I alone. I examined his bony body. He was small and soft and smelt of wee and sawdust. He had pale creamy fur tinged with chocolate brown at each edge. As I was studying him, he uncurled himself, tipping off my arms towards the moat below us. I caught him by the tail just in time, tucking him back safely into the crook of my arm. He opened his eyes for the first time and stared at me with big red-blue irises. He was hot and slightly sticky damp in my hands, and I loved him immediately. I balanced him on my shoulder and made my way up the 2 flights of stairs to my bedroom, filling the kitten in on the minutiae of our lives. Dad lost his university job ages ago, and he's been trying to work out what to do with himself ever since, I said, tickling him under his chin as I ran up the 2nd staircase, the tiny, windy one that Dad was forever tripping up on. He says we've moved here so he can paint instead of teach art. It's the summer holidays, and I'm going to be 9 soon, and Dad says he might have to give me a painting instead of a real present for my birthday, but that's okay, because his paintings are like stories made real. He says someone has to make some money or we'll be living on bread crusts and moat water, so I thought I might sell some stuff outside the house. I found some nice pebbles and tried to paint them, but I'm not very good at painting. So I wrote poems on them instead, but I'm not very good at poems either, so I dropped them in the moat. Here, this is us. I pushed open the 3-foot-high door that marked the entrance to my vast bedroom. The kitten perked up as we climbed through into the huge, bright space. It was the shape of a tent, one of those old-fashioned tents, a huge triangle. And it felt like a tent, too. When it was windy outside, the air caught beneath all the beams and vibrated until you felt like there was nothing but thin canvas between you and the sky. When Dad had first shown me my room, I spent the entire day in there, not daring to believe all this space belonged to me. There were dust sheets over the furniture, and in the corner a pretty parasol leant against the wall, as if the young lady it had belonged to had left it there only moments before. The first time I opened it, it showered dust all around me, and I walked the length of the room, holding it above my head in a sedate manner, pretending I was as posh as its previous owner. I tipped the kitten onto the bed and studied him. You look like someone important, I said, and important people have long names. How about Captain Montgomery of the 2nd Regiment? Montgomery seemed satisfied with his name and curled up happily on the quilt. On that first night, his mews pierced my dreams. He wrapped his pulsing little body about my head on the pillow, and I found him in my dreams too, popping into existence in the middle of a sweet shop, then a flowery meadow, the little bell on his collar rattling shrilly, announcing his arrival and preceding his loud meow. On waking the next morning, he followed me round the house, and Dad soon joined us, stooping to sketch us whenever we stopped, wiping his dark hair out of his eyes and grasping his stubby pencil, his knees creaking as he crouched down to get a better angle of us. Dad's love of drawing had always been a part of him, but since we had moved to Brer, it had become an obsession. His fingers, when they stroked the fringe from my face late at night, had the sharp tang of pencil lead on them, and the skin of his face had echoes of paint and pastel, especially under his eyes, where he had rubbed them so often in frustration. I had the feeling that moving to such a ramshackle house had made Dad start to go ramshackle too. His jumpers, once smart, had started to